and I've been asked to do a rapid fire session with Mr. Niranjan Hirandani. So, he's the one who's on the hot seat. It's a rare privilege to, put Mr. Hirandani on the hot seat, which usually doesn't happen. I'm going to try and make it a little exciting. We've got about 20 minutes. And then I have my dear friend Ashwinder, who's going to come in next. So 2 people on the hot seat that I'm going to ask rapid fire questions. Next one is my dear friend Ashwinder R Singh, who's the CEO of the Bhartiya Urban. I've had the privilege of working with him earlier. So welcome, Ashwinder.
Thank you. Thank you, Anuj.
Tough spot to be in after Niranjan Bhai.
Very tough, but I'm glad I'm in this spot.
No, I'll make it easy. First of all, Ashwinder, you've done sort of exceptionally well as Bhartiya city. And I just want to understand this concept of township, given during the COVID times, it worked well. You believe it will continue to work well even after COVID?
I think, Anuj, this, I strongly feel, not just because I'm part of Bhartiya city, but the kind of value our stakeholders have seen, especially the home buyers. We have around 5,000 odd families already staying there. Value of walking to a mall, walking to a hotel, walking to a hospital, walking to a school. A lot of mothers teaching their own children. And the ability to control that environment. Obviously, we have a lot of open spaces. What it looks like is that there are a lot of people who've been asking us that when is the next Bhartiya city going to come? Is it going to come or not? Because this looks like a thing that the consumer is really wanting to be in.
Yes. Ashwinder, what are some of the changes that you have witnessed in the home buyers' requirements since the beginning of the pandemic?
Well, you yourself are an expert in this, Anuj, I'll try and give you my perspective. One of the changes is that the generation which was a generation of shared economy suddenly wanted to buy a home. This is the biggest tectonic shift that has happened, and that is where the demand came in. The other demand factor that has come up is the people who wanted to upgrade, and they wanted a larger home with an extra space. These 2 things, it's quite simple. I don't want to make it look like anything which is complicated. So people wanted to go into a bigger home. Especially even in cities like Mumbai, where the capital value is very high, because earlier they would leave in the morning and come back in the evening. So even 5 people would stay in 2 rooms. So the upgraded requirement and the shared economy people, which is the Gen Z and the Gen Y and the millennials, wanting to buy a home is something which is very big.
Yeah. I'm going to change gears, Ashwinder. I'm going to ask you a little bit more rapid fire, like I asked Niranjan Bhai. You mentioned about millennials. My question is, what is the biggest challenge facing the millennials?
The biggest challenge is, they are pretty clear in terms of what they want to do. The challenge is not to the millennials, but to their parents. They don't have any challenge, I don't think. They're very clear. They understand what they need, and they don't take too much of stress the way our generation took to kind of build a career and to think about the next 10 years and the next 20 years. They want to live life, and they don't justify anything that they do. They just want to go out and live their life, and they're pretty confident people. So the challenge is to us how we manage those millennials. The millennials are pretty cool about it.
What do you believe is the #1 priority for businesses right now?
I think governance is the #1 priority for any good business, whether it is real estate or any other business. If you are not in governance, the way the country is changing and the way we are becoming global, we are now the 6th largest economy in the world, and soon we might be amongst the top 3 in the next 5 to 10 years. Governance, governance, and governance. If you can handle that, I think everything else will fall in place.
Ashwinder, what is the most important risk that you have taken till date, or most significant risk?
The biggest risk I took was when I left Temasek, which is a Government of Singapore company, and joined a company called Agni Properties. And even my mother was ready to kind of throw me out of the home, which then became indiahomes.com. So I was always in Citibank for 12 years and then in financial services with Deutsche Bank and Temasek. And the biggest risk was that they were moving me out of India. But because of my mother, I couldn't move out. And this was the only company that was giving me a job. And they got some $5-6 million of investment. And I kind of took a plunge. And from the most organized market, which is the financial services market, I moved into the most unorganized market in the most unorganized city, which is Delhi. So that was the biggest risk.
True, true. One thing that you consider as your strength?
I'm still to find what my strength is. I'm not very clear about that. I think God has been very kind. I'm quite a normal guy who's been at the right place at the right time with the kind of nominations and getting an award of this level today, where most of the people getting awards are promoters and developers. I think a lot of credit goes to God rather than to me.
Nice,
so
nice. Very humble, very humble.
I can't think of any strength from that perspective, Anuj.
My last question is that how do you continue to grow and develop as a leader?
I think what I do is, Niranjan Bhai was talking about mentors. Over a period of time, I figured out that I have 3 mentors. The biggest mentor is my failure. The next biggest is the challenges that I faced. And the third biggest is the successes that I had. And, if you are 20 years or more of experience and you've seen enough of world, if you keep on not repeating the same mistakes and you keep on doing the good things which got you the success, plus if you keep on continuously reading a lot, yes. I think that is the only way forward, and it is not about money. I strongly feel that most of the people who ended up making a lot of wealth, they did not intend to make that wealth. They followed a purpose, they followed a cause, they were very passionate, they were very hardworking, and the inputs were so correct that finally they became wealthy. Because the people who were following wealth, they actually made a lot of wealth, and in the end they lost it.
Fantastic, guys. What a great learning. I know the bell has been ringing. Ashwinder, thank you very much.
Thank you, Anuj.
You.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure always.
It's always a pleasure.
Thank you. Please.
I don't know how much of you know, but Ash, what is that one thing that you love the most and that you will rhyme the most? I don't know how many of you know this talent.
I love singing quite a bit.
Would you like to listen to him? Go for it. So here is it. Yeah, please.
I have my single being released by Saregama, which has been released now. So, but I'll sing just one line because I can't say no to my very good friend and the newest friend I've made, Mr. Srivastav. And the song goes is, पुरानी जीन्स और गिटार, मोहल्ले की वो छत और मेरे यार, वो रातों को जागना, सुबह घर जाना, कूद के दीवार, वो सिगरेट पीना, गली में जाके, वो करना दांतों को घड़ी घड़ी साफ, बस यादें 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 रह जाती हैं, कुछ छोटी छोटी बातें रह जाती हैं. Thank you. Thank you, Anuj.
One more time for him, please. We don't seem to get over.